Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook, from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Off to a roaring start here. Natty Oaks is where we are. National Avenue, West Allis. Natty Oaks Fest going on all this weekend, and it kicks off today. And I'm telling you right now, if you've never been, my goodness gracious, you need to figure this out, and you need to get your butt here. There's lots going on. So for today, for instance, we got the Whiskey Bells. They're going to be out on the patio from 5 until 7 o'clock tonight. Sons of Scotty out in the grassy area from 7 until 10 o'clock tonight. Now get this, a tiki bar they got outside setting up. That gets going at 4 o'clock. They got their own food truck out here at Natty Oaks. That's going to be going from 5 to 9 o'clock outside. 50-50 raffle going on as well. So, again, make sure to come out here, check it out. They got live music today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Lots and lots of fun stuff. Check it out right now out here at Natty Oaks in West Allis. And I tweeted out earlier at Sparky Radio some of the things that they've got that you can have a chance to win. They have a Jacob Mizorowski, Brewers stud pitcher, signed picture over there. A Jordan Love jersey signed as well. They got some cool euchre pictures over there that you can win. A Pat Murphy signed picture as well. So lots of cool stuff. If you're a big sports fan, this is the place. And the inside is awesome. TVs everywhere. The outside, huge patio area. Huge place to go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather. And the great thing is there's no rain in the forecast all weekend long, at least not down here in southeastern Wisconsin. Man, I was watching the weather forecast last night. My friends up there in Wausau, 93.9 the game. According to my meteorologist that I was watching down here in Milwaukee, Charlie, they were saying that those poor folks in Wausau were getting ping pong ball-sized hail dropped on them yesterday in Wausau. No, thank you.
Yeah, good luck with
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry for your cars. I'm sorry for everything.
I've been happy with the really nice weather around here. As you know, I go see my grandma on Thursdays before I come in here.
Yes.
She was saying she misses the rain. And I was like, kind of, I guess, but not like the way we were getting rain. I don't want that again.
Right. I mean, that was last night of the forecast. They're talking about a possible drought we'll have to be talking about here if we don't get rain at some point.
Awesome.
But they're saying we're good for like at least another week before there's any type of substantial rain. So enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the nice weather wherever you may be listening around the state. Coming up on today's show, Ryan Wood, Packers beat writer from the Green Bay Press-Gazette in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He'll join us coming up in the second segment of the show. Let's talk about the crew with Jack Stern, a Brewer fanatic. He'll join us coming up at 3 o'clock. And as always, Charlie Sounds today at 3:40. Green and Gold update at 4. Things Sparky missed at 4:40. We start off with Major League Baseball today, as there have been a lot of things, I guess you could say, going on with Major League Baseball. So first and foremost, let's talk about what was put out there by the Players Association. Now, again, remember, if you're new to this and haven't been paying attention, the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement for Major League Baseball, is set to expire December 1st, at which point there'll be no CBA. If there is no new CBA signed by, say, spring training in February, March, there will be no spring training games. If there is nothing done, then there's not going to be regular season games in April when this whole thing starts. So this is a relatively big deal. Now, again, we are at the end of May. So realistically, they're giving themselves about 8 months to pretty much try and hammer this out before spring training. That's what we're talking about. Now, can they get this done in 8 months? Well, we're going to find out. So we have proposals going back and forth. Now, the first proposal that we saw came from the Players Association yesterday. The MLB owners came with theirs today as well.
Right,
that just happened a little bit ago, and I have that too. Let's start with the Players Association. Among the top line issues, according to Jeff Passan, a competitive integrity tax for any team that does not spend $150 million. So what they're saying is they want a floor. They want a floor. So they're all in. Like, we want it to be, you can't spend $75 million and expect to have a Major League Baseball team. You've got to be at least at 150. The Brewers are not at 150. The Brewers would have to spend another $20 to $25 million to get to said 150, if that's what indeed happened. They want to increase the minimum salary for each player, pretty much double it, from $780,000 to $1.5 million. They want to increase in the base CBT threshold from $244 million to $300 million. So they're raising the ceiling on the luxury tax essentially even higher than it is already. Changes to the revenue sharing system that would distribute more money from local television revenue, but decrease the amount distributed from in-stadium revenue to incentivize teams that win and draw larger crowds. Now, that I think is good for the Brewers. I don't think that's negative at all. That is going to hurt those teams that don't draw fans. We do in Milwaukee. We draw fans really, really well.
Pack the stadium every day, it feels like, man.
Right. So I don't know how much that hurts the Brewers. Now, does it hurt the Brewers because they don't have 60,000 seats or whatever? Maybe. But I think they're right in the middle of attendance. I don't know how much every stadium in Major League Baseball holds. I would assume the Dodgers hold, a ton. Probably, 10 to 15,000 more, maybe more than that, maybe than the Brewers do. But I'm that doesn't bother me necessarily. Then the other one that Jeff Passan points out, free agency for players who are 30 years of age and 5 or more years of service time, which, again, I'm fine with that too. I also don't have an issue with that either. Now, if we look at revenue-wise, the A's in 2024, something like that, $257 million was essentially what we're talking about there. And if you look at all of these, like the Brewers in 2024, $335 million they got in revenue money on this split type deal. Miami, $317 million. The White Sox, $277 million. And you go through all of it, and then you look at the percentage of their payroll to the revenue that they had total. And the Brewers were spending 40%. Meanwhile, if you look at the Mets, they're spending 90% of their revenue on payroll. The Dodgers, 73%. Toronto, 71.5%. Philly, 67.2%. So those larger market teams spending way more money. Now, the Royals are a little bit different. The Royals are spending, they have a $167 million payroll. Now, again, this was the 2025 payroll. The Royals were spending 51.5%. They were getting $324. The Brewers were getting $335. The Royals, $167 million on payroll. The Milwaukee Brewers, $137 according to this in 25. So clearly, a smaller market like Kansas City and the Brewers, I think, are kind of similar. The question then begs, why doesn't Mark spend more than that? What is the reasoning for that? I don't know what his reasoning is. Maybe he spends it more on the international academies and all this other stuff that he decides to spend it on. Maybe it's to write himself a bigger check. I don't know. I have no idea. But that is one comparison that you can use there. So originally we were going to do, would their suggestions help Major League Baseball moving forward of what the Players Association was asking? But then, just before we came on the air, here comes news from Jesse Rogers of ESPN. And he says, as expected, MLB, the owners, proposed a hard salary cap to union officials today as part of the next CBA. Sources tell ESPN the salary floor for teams beginning in 2027 would be set at $171.2 million, which includes player benefits, with the ceiling at $245.3 million. Where should we start? Okay. I guess let's start at the ceiling, $245 million. Call up the opening day payroll for Major League Baseball, Charlie, on your computer if you can, for every Major League Baseball team. I would imagine $245 million. I would bet there's probably at least 5 to 8 teams that are over $245 million.
So to start the season this year, the Boston Red Sox were at $256 million. The Padres were at $262. Blue Jays are number 3. Or not number 3. Phillies 4, Yankees 5, Mets 6, Dodgers 7, all above that $245 million payroll.
So is that right? That Dodgers are 7th in payroll?
No, I'm just saying, like, I was counting from bottom up. From 245 up to the top. So the Dodgers
right, so
are
there's 7 teams.
There's 7
Dodgers
teams.
are what? Okay. So 7 teams that are over $245 million. Now do this. Keep that up. Now tell me how many teams are below $171 million. This will take Charlie a little bit more time to go below 171.
Right. So the Diamondbacks are the first team below 171.
And
you have the
what
Diamondbacks,
are they at?
162 million. Then the Reds.
So that's like 10 million under still. Okay.
Yeah, the Reds are at 139 million underneath them. So they're a whole like 21 million below the Diamondbacks then at that point. Then you have the Athletics, the Brewers, Pirates, Cardinals, Nationals, White Sox, Rockies, Twins, Rays, and Guardians and Marlins.
So my first thing is this. If I'm the Players Association, my response is, you're suggesting a floor at $171 million. And yet, almost half the league isn't spending that. So, how in the world could you potentially sell me on $171 million when half the league isn't doing it? Now, they do put in here that would be set at 171.2, which includes player benefits. Now, that's the other side of this that they get away from. Now, what value does player benefits have on top of whatever the payroll is? I have no idea what an owner pays for insurance on one Major League Baseball player. And then to multiply that out over the entire team, I don't know what that cost is. But let's just say that it's another, I don't know, $10 million or something like that that goes along with that for insurance. Even if that's the case, now you're saying even the Diamondbacks at 161, even with the $10 million insurance, okay, maybe they're over. But then everybody below that is still going to have to do it. So if I'm the players reps, I'm going, question. If you're willing to make that salary floor that high, why haven't your owners been spending anywhere close to that for half the league? So now Pittsburgh all of a sudden can afford to spend 171? Now the Marlins can all of us afford to spend 171, or even if it's 150 and with insurance it's 171, whatever. That's a sizable jump for what most of these teams have been spending for the last 20 years. Like, it's not even remotely close. If I'm the Players Association, that's the first thing I'm doing. I'm going, time out. 1 second. I'm trying to figure this out. You want a base of 171. Now, as a fan, I'm all in. Because if that means the Brewers got to spend another $10 or $20 million a year, we can get another good player or two. Maybe now we can re-sign William Contreras. Hey, yeah, let's do this. I'm all about
$42 million more.
What?
They would have to spend $42 million more to hit that.
Right, but we don't know how much the benefits are, right?
Just based off
so,
yep.
Correct. So, I mean, again, you can now afford William Contreras, and you might be able to go get somebody else. Yelich is off the books in 2 years. So now it's boom, get that done. Boom, get Madej done as well. And then focus your sights on Mizorowski.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was going to say, do you get Miz done then too?
Yes. Yeah. Or Terang. I mean, if you want to go that way, that's a ton of money.
Tommy happy, I guess. Sure.
To me, I'm not floored by what the Players Association wants to do. I'm floored by what the owners are suggesting. Like 245 at the top. I'm good with that. Like I said 250, I think, when we started this whole conversation. And I said the floor for 140. So I said, hey, if it's separated by 100 million, I'm good with that. If I'm the owners, 100 million separation, I'm good. They're trying to make the separation be about 70 million or so between the two. But there's no chance you can start this in 27. Like, you're nuts. This has to be a gradual process. So in my mind, okay, if we're going to do all this, then this CBA has to be 10 years. And in 3 years, we get to the numbers that you're putting down. Because you're going to go to the Dodgers and have them cut off, what, $150 million in payroll or whatever. What's their number at right now, the Dodgers?
Right now, the Dodgers are at $395.8 million.
Yeah. So you're talking like $150 million they're going to have to shave off in one offseason? You can't do that to them. There's no way. That's not fair to anybody. So this will have to be a gradual process of we're going to get to these numbers, whatever they end up being, but you can't hard start it next season. Like, that's lunacy. There's no chance you can do that to these teams.
I don't know if I 100% agree with you. I look at the bottom of that list, and yes, it's almost half the league, but I think the owners kind of did that strategically. It's at 13 teams exactly. So I think it's a little less than half the league so that they could maybe get a couple teams to give them that little extra push over on the MLBPA. But if you look at the payrolls from last season, this website I'm using, steveump.com, payrolls.htm. Awesome. He has the 2025, 2024 beyond. But in 2025, there were 17 teams that were under that $171 million threshold.
You and I talked about this in the offseason. When all of a sudden the Pirates starting spending money and stuff like this, what did I tell you?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
You get some of these teams that are going to just start doing it. Like, I think it'll be a lot easier to get these teams and these owners to start spending that type of money in one offseason than we're making it out to seem right now, because we saw four owners last offseason go and just do that.
But Charlie, if you're the players, aren't you mad? Like, where has this been the entire time? Now with the CBA coming up, and now magically, now you want to spend money? Pittsburgh.
They're spending money. That's what the players should care about, is that they're spending the money. I don't care about when it's happening, is that it's happening.
I'm just saying, if I'm a representative of the Players Association, I'm hot. Like, you come at me with 170. It's one thing if you come at me and say, crying poor, our small market teams can't afford it. We want to start it at 100 million or whatever. And you've got like 3 teams under 100 million or 4 teams. And you're like, look, we're going to get the bottom teams up. We'll figure it out. We'll give them money, whatever. We'll pull them up, but we need you to pull down that top some too. Okay. Like, if you're the Players Association, all right, at least we have a bottom now, right? Now we can't have the bottom dwellers doing the crazy crap they were doing. That's okay. But when you start me at 171, to me, that's alarming. If I'm the players, that's alarming. And from the players' side of things, looking at it, I didn't mind what they put out there. It didn't really bother me in the least. Now, as we look at both of these, do we think that there's going to be an issue? Yes, because they want a hard cap, and the Players Association will never agree to that.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
If you want to have these hard luxury tax levels like the NBA does, if you want to do it that way, I think the Players Association will play that game, right? Because then the rich, like the Dodgers, will continue to spend like they do, but all that money is going to go back into revenue sharing or whatever else, and these other owners are going to get some of that money back to themselves. I think the Players Association will go with that, but they're never going to go with a hard cap. And if this is going to be over a hard cap, then we're going to be waiting an awfully long time to see Major League Baseball again. Coming up next, Ryan Wood, beat writer for the Green Bay Press-Gazette and the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He'll join us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Out here, Natty Oaks, National Avenue West Allis for Oaks Fest, coming up all weekend long. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Live from Natty Oaks, baby, right here, National Avenue, West Allis. Oaks Fest is going on this weekend. Live music. They got a tiki bar outside. They got their food truck outside. It's going to be a party for 4 days straight. Today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. This is where you want to be. I had the smash can burgers that they got here. That was absolutely delicious.
Did you get a big bowl of chili?
So good. I did not. No. I thought that was a thing that Josh does on Fridays. Josh from Inside Wisconsin Sports. And Josh said he is coming here tomorrow during the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. He'll be broadcasting tomorrow noon to 2. And he'll be having his big old bowl of chili tomorrow while Mitch is out there doing his show.
You got to have one. Are you not like a chili guy or?
Oh, no, I like chili. I've not had the chili here, obviously.
Well, you got to get a big old bowl of chili in honor of Josh.
Well, first of all, I'm not a big old guy, so I'm probably not going to finish a big old bowl of chili. Like,
they got a little
maybe
cup
they
of
have
chili for you.
Right, like maybe they can have the Sparky small cup of chili.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
Josh's big old bowl and Sparky's small cup.
That's a good idea. Yeah, Sparky's little old cup.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, okay, I'll tell you what. So tomorrow I'll try the chili. I'll let you know about that. Joining us now, he is Ryan Wood from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, Green Bay Press-Gazette, Packers beat writer. Joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Mr. Ryan Wood, how are we this afternoon?
You know what, Spark? You start talking about chili, and I don't care if the calendar is about to turn to June. You start talking about chili, and I'm doing a lot better now. How are you?
Yeah, I've got a thing for making homemade chili in the crock pot. I'm like you. It doesn't matter to me if it's July or if it's December. I always love chili. Is he there? Did he leave?
You cut out on me. It doesn't matter to me if you just cut out.
No, well, that's fine. We'll just move on and talk about the Packers. God didn't want to talk about chili.
Go.
Yeah, we'll move on to the Packers. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on, obviously, with Josh Jacobs. That's the number one topic. And I'll just quickly give you my viewpoint. So, from what I understand, 6 games is what the suspension is for domestic abuse, if found guilty. But, as I told everybody yesterday, yes, of course, it matters what happens in the court of law. However, the NFL does its own investigation, and regardless of what happens there, a lot of this is going to come down to what the NFL finds on its own. So he may not get charged in a court of law, but if the NFL and their investigators find him guilty of anything, regardless of what a judge says, they could still suspend him at that moment in time. So really, not only does Josh Jacobs got to get cleared in the court of law, he's also got to be clear of NFL investigators.
It's 6 games baseline, but if you look at the wording of the policy, it says there are mitigating or aggravating factors that can be included into the decision that can either increase or decrease that 6-game baseline suspension. In layman's terms, we don't know. We don't. It's too early to know right now what type of punishment, because it's individualized, because it's case by case, every case taken on its own island, that Josh Jacobs may or may not eventually end up facing. It's just too early. Any amount of time, though, and this is where we'll talk about the football side of this, right? For this team, any amount of time is really bad because this is the weakest depth position on the entire roster, and the Packers knew that. They knew that even before this incident, which is that Josh Jacobs, he's the headliner, but he's entering his age 28 season. He just had a lot of injuries last year. And your backup is a guy who's never been healthy. Marshawn Lloyd, 10 career snaps in 2 seasons. This is the one position where you cannot, even in the football parlance, you cannot allow or afford for attrition to take a toll at running back. Emmanuel Wilson isn't here anymore. There's no depth here. If he's – I don't know what it is. No one knows right now. But if it's more than a couple games, that's a really bad spot for this football team to be.
But if it's, let's say, if it ends up being 6 games, and again, all this may be not true, and and we get to the season, he's playing week 1, and nothing happens. That's what I think everybody's hoping for. But let's say it is 6 games. Can't you just go with what you have and just be like, hey, Jordan, more of this is going to fall on you the first 6 weeks of the season, and as it gets colder out, we'll have fresh legs with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I've wondered that myself. Okay, so if it's 6 games and you're looking at Josh Jacobs not being on the field until the middle of October, just in terms of football, because there's the other side of this too, which is if he's not exonerated, if he ultimately, and he hasn't yet, he has not at this time, but if he ends up facing these charges and being charged with these allegations, which are heinous, there's a non-football side to this in terms of the future as well. But
for sure.
if he is back in the middle of October, having a fresh legs Josh Jacobs for the second half of the season might not be the worst thing. With that said, you got to still stay above water in those 6 games. And, yeah, okay, Jordan Love aired out. I mean, that's going to work against presumably the New York Jets, who went through the entire 2025 season without picking off a single pass, the entire defense, and just happens to be week 2. I mean, there's certain games on the schedule that you can pinpoint of, Jordan Love aired out this week, but it still changes the formula, and it certainly live within the realm of possibility that in those 6 games you put yourself in a position where you're playing catch-up now in a very crowded, very loaded NFC North division. It's not ideal, but could it have some silver linings on the field later on for the stretch run? Maybe, but you got to get to that point.
They allow you guys in the media to watch OTAs for the one time, actually, and get to see what's going on. Wide receiver wise, obviously, no more Dobbs to watch in a Packers uniform, and you have to make some adjustments. No more Dontavian Wicks. What does this wide receiver room look like in the day that you got to see yesterday? I heard Christian Watson look good. Anybody else?
Yeah, and we've done this long enough. You know me. This time of year, I make it a point not to make football observations when we are not observing football, and this is not football when they're in shorts. With that said, Christian Watson caught a dig yesterday right in front of Keyshawn Nixon. And the acceleration after the catch, I don't care if they have pads on or not. There's not a lot of humans that size that can have that kind of burst and accelerate that way. If he can stay healthy, Christian Watson, if he puts a 17-game season together like what he did in the back half of last year, coming off that torn ACL starting midway through the year in Pittsburgh, he's a number 1 wide receiver in this league. And if he puts that type of season together, he's a $30 million a year receiver in this league. Now, it's a big if. We haven't seen him do that, right? This is all projection, but what is free agency? What is the NFL marketplace? It's all based on projection. It's all based on what you can do in the future. And that is what he has the tools to do if he can stay healthy. And he showed it yesterday just in that one rep of, there's just not a lot of guys that have that size, that speed, that can just take it to the house anytime. More targets for a guy like that is a good thing. More targets for Matthew Golden is a good thing. I think what the Packers have done, paring down their passing game and really establishing clear roles within that, it makes a lot of sense. It's something that was overdue. It's something that they've had too many mouths to feed the past couple of years. I think this makes everyone better because offensive football is about getting it to your best playmakers as often as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely right. And that's the other part about this, too, as far as who are those best playmakers going to be. One guy that was an undrafted free agent that I think a lot of people like coming out, J. Michael Sturdivant. I saw him snag a ball from somebody that put it on video. I mean, it was Bill Huber. I'm not sure. Did you see anything from him in the early going?
Say, from who again?
J. Michael Sturdivant.
No, he didn't jump out to me. Yeah, again, this is OTAs. What this is a classroom on the field. So in terms of bold proclamations, I'm not the guy. You're not going to get it from me in late May. It always stuns me how once training camp starts and they strap the pads, and now that is real football. You get the pads on, they're playing football now. How little of that even carries over once September comes? And shoot, by the time November's here, it's just, especially with this team, with how they're set up, we know what to expect from this core now. We know what the questions are with this core now. Can they close games? So much of this, you're not going to learn in late May. You're not going to learn in this classroom on the field setting. You're going to learn it in the fourth quarter of week 3. the fourth quarter of week 7. Like that's what we have to see now from this team. No, that's not something that I'd be lying if it really stood out to me.
Talking with Ryan Wood, Packers beat writer, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Green Bay Press Gazette. Follow him on X at @ByRyanWood. Joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Fifer with you at Natty Oaks, West Allis, National Avenue. Oaks Fest going on today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Come hang out with us today and tomorrow. We'll be doing our show out here. What about the whole idea of this Green Bay Packers team as it sits currently, going with what appears to be a rookie kicker back there and letting McManus go? And I heard LaFleur yesterday, we played a little bit of it yesterday, talking about, well, we did it in the best interest of Brandon McManus. I guess I would want to know whether or not that is actually true or not, or whether or not Brandon McManus saw that dude get drafted smack and said, man, I'm too old for this crap. I'm not competing against this kid. I know how good I am. Why don't you just release me if you want to go with him? And then maybe they decided, okay, fine, that's what you want. And then they released him. I just find it hard to believe you draft a kicker in the 6th round after all the trouble you had trying to find somebody to kick, like McManus did for a year and a half or so, and now you want to go back down this road again.
The moment Brian Gutekunst traded a pair of 7th-round picks to trade up to the end of the 6th round for Trey Smack, at that moment to not be the kicker year 1 as a rookie, he would have had to literally fall flat on his face in August. He would have had to kick so bad that not only was he not going to be your guy, but you could cut him, and you don't have to even worry about someone else claiming him because no one's going to claim a kicker struggling to that extent. That's how low the bar was from that moment for Trace. Because you don't offload 2 draft picks for a kicker that you're not going to give every benefit of the doubt, every inch of
7th round picks.
You can.
They're 7th-round picks.
Matter.
Let's not act like they gave
matter.
up anything. Half these guys, the guys that they might have drafted, could have also been unsigned free agents. I mean, I don't give any value to a 7th-round pick, especially 2 of them.
It doesn't matter. For that position, you don't draft a guy that you're not expecting to be the guy. Point blank. That is how the nature of the kicker position in the NFL. If you're giving any additional pick for that guy, he's your guy. What that means is whether Brandon McManus was here or not, he was going to be the guy because the Packers certainly don't expect Trey Smack to fall flat on his face in August. They expect the only kicker drafted in this draft class to come in and kick reasonably well and get better from there. And so before Brandon McManus was released, he was the guy. He is now currently, obviously, the guy. Brandon McManus being here or not did not move the needle on that one bit. Trey Smack was going to be the guy because you drafted him and offloaded another pick to do it. And Brandon McManus, I think, has been around the league a long time. He understands how it works. He saw the writing on the wall. I'll always believe that he asked for his release.
Yep.
I don't blame him. I think it was just an obvious decision at that point.
I don't understand the Gutekunst part of this. I'm sorry. He struggled mightily finding a kicker after Crosby, and now we're going to go rely on a rookie with a team that has, Super Bowl aspirations, taking a next step aspirations, and to put a rookie kicker through all of that. And then on top of it, this isn't a rookie kicker in Detroit or Minnesota with a dome with controlled conditions if you have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. This is a kicker that's going to have to kick in snow with winds and super bitter cold that's never done it before. And, we're blessed to have Mason Crosby on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network every day from noon to 2. That is not an easy deal for anybody to do. And again, if this was a team that was coming off a 4-12 season, there weren't a lot of expectations, this guy could struggle and nobody would really care all that much because nobody's expecting him to go anywhere. But now you put him in a situation where he's going to be in a pressure cooker, Ryan Wood.
So you'd rather have the guy that just left 7 points on the board with 3 missed kicks in Chicago and a 4-point playoff loss?
Absolutely, every day of the week. He made 13 consecutive kicks prior to that one playoff game that was a disaster. Fine.
He missed a field goal in Philly the year before, too.
I'll take McManus over a rookie kicker every day of the week. Now, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see how this all plays out.
I think through Brian Gutekunst's lens, and I actually agree with him when you look at the talent on paper with this roster, I think Brian Gutekunst feels like he's built a team that is constructed now to win a Super Bowl. The questions about this team's ability or lack thereof to win a Super Bowl is not about the talent. It's about the culture. It's about the accountability. It's about the ability to close games so that you are in position to win. Those things, which really fall outside the purview of the general manager. If the GM feels like he has built a Super Bowl roster, and I believe that Brian Gutekunst has, and then you see a kicking game that wasn't just bad in Chicago. It was an issue throughout last season.
Because
Not
he was
all of it was
kicking
on
hurt.
Brandon McManus, and some of it was on Brandon McManus. You better get the kicking position right. So now
Yes.
you see the guy that you feel is the best college kicker, a chance to get the kicking position right. I'll tell you, the one I talked at long length with Ryan Longwell and Matt Stover. Matt Stover, longtime Ravens Browns kicker, made more outdoor bad field goals than anyone in the history of the league. He was the personal coach, the guy that discovered Trace Mack when he was 16 years old. And these guys, when it comes to being a rookie, the question's going to be, before games, kickers go out, they scout their location, they judge the wind, the field conditions, they get a barometer for where they're comfortable. They communicate that before kickoff. They say, hey, this is where your best success rate is going to be. You got to get to this yard line. If it's the 34 you got to get to, don't say the 36. You got to get to the 34. They talk about that before the game. And then once the game starts, oftentimes these head coaches, you might be at the 36. Oh, that was the 34. Well, can you get it from here? Well, okay. A kicker's going to tell you yes in the moment, but before the game, he was saying you need those 2 more yards. Can a head coach, can Matt LaFleur have the trust and the conviction in a rookie kicker to say, no, we need to get to the 34? That camaraderie between head coach and rookie kicker, to me, that's where it's going to be most tested. But in terms of the leg, Trace Mack has an NFL leg. He's had it since the moment he started kicking football, according to Matt Stover. There's some adjustments he's going to have to make. Ryan Longwell told me about how in Green Bay, you've got to hit this low driving kick. A lot of these kickers are taught to kick this high hook, which maximizes distance, but you put the ball up in the wind and the elements and you don't know where it's going to go. You got to kick below the wind in Green Bay. Trace Mack, like many of them, hit the high hook. He's going to have to adjust and he's going to have to kick it a little differently. But in terms of the talent of the kick, he has that. So just to me, the in game, when the stress is high, trusting a rookie, that's on Matt LaFleur more than it's on the kicker. I think if you're Brian Gutekunst, you better have the kicking position secure. You did not coming out of last season. This is your opportunity to do that.
You hit on it. Don't you think some of this might be that maybe there wasn't the camaraderie between Matt LaFleur and Brandon McManus? Wasn't LaFleur the one said, I don't talk to kickers?
Yep.
I mean, again, if we're talking about publicly what it looked like outside in, I don't remember anybody really going back and forth with the coach and the media quite like McManus was doing there for a short bit.
That's the unknown to me. The unknown is Matt LaFleur. Can you put your trust into a rookie? I don't know that he put it into a veteran with
Right.
Brandon McManus. I don't know that the guy that said, I don't talk to kickers, but you better talk to kickers. Because if you don't have that camaraderie, you're leaving the door open to 7 points off the board on 3 missed kicks and a 4-point playoff loss.
Yep.
You better have a good relationship with your kicker. And I get, Matt Stover told me, to him, kickers are like snipers in the military, right? They're kind of off on the side. They're mostly forgotten about until you absolutely need them. A lot of what they do on their own, and the onus is really on them, and then you got to rely on them and trust in them, and then they're called upon in a critical moment to take that shot. Well, Matt LaFleur, you better build up that relationship with your rookie kicker because the playoffs are coming, and you can't keep letting these points off the board.
Ryan, the other thing maybe we found out from OTAs, and maybe you'll say, I still don't necessarily buy into it. It does appear that Gannon wants to run a 3-4 defense. Did we at least learn that much yesterday?
Yeah, it's small sample size. We saw 3-4 yesterday. I'm going to be really interested when we're seeing it day in, day out come training camp. I think Jonathan Gannon wants to be multiple. I think you're going to see some 4-man front. I think you're going to see some 3-man front. You're going to see mostly nickel because that's the way this league works. It's too early for me to say this is what it's going to be. But I do think that Jonathan Gannon wants a multiple defense. He's going to craft it to the strengths of his players, what they can do. The most fascinating part of that is, okay, with Micah Parsons, like, are you going to continue this theme that Jeff Hafley had last year, which is he's an edge rusher until third down, then you stand him up at linebacker, bring him up the middle. You want to be creative in that way. You're going to put him in one spot. How's that going to look coming off the torn ACL? But in terms of the totality of the defense, you're going to see a multiple defense. He loves using a lot of safeties. He's got a lot of safeties here in Green Bay. I think that fits well. It's going to be very interesting to see him piece this together.
Well, you talk about the defense, and if you are going to play that 3-4 type deal, what does that mean for some of the guys up front, like Stackhouse, like McClellan, like Brinson, and so forth, and Hargrave, too, as far as who's going to play that nose tackle position, or is that still to be determined?
Yeah, the nose tackle, if they play 3-4, the nose tackle is less of a mystery to me than who plays the 5 tech and goes out over the tackle. Like, is that going to be some Devontae Wyatt? We didn't see him yesterday, and that was the biggest thing that jumps out, right? Who is in attendance for this classroom on the field and who is not? Like, no team reps for Zach Tom. Marshawn Lloyd did not take team reps yesterday, was in the individual drills. No Devontae Wyatt yet. I think all those guys, especially Zach Tom and Devontae Wyatt, I think they'll be good to go come training camp. But who plays the 5? Javon Hargrave's kind of a nose to 3, and Devontae Wyatt's a 3, but can go out to the 5. You know, we saw some Warren Brinson as a nose tackle yesterday. I think that makes sense. Chris McClellan makes sense as a nose tackle. Brian Gutekunst said before the draft that he has an appetite for a nose, and I think there's multiple options there to play nose. But how do you fill out the rest of that defensive line?
He is Ryan Wood. We took him way too long. I apologize for holding you so long. Charlie just said you have to break. You're way late. So I apologize, Ryan Wood. Enjoy your weekend.
I get it. Enjoy that chili, Sparky.
I'll take a picture and send it to you tomorrow.
Oh, that's just rubbing it in. That's just rude, man. If you're not bringing me some, I can't eat a picture.
You're right. I'll send you a video while I'm eating it. Ryan, thank you so much, my friend. Take care.
All right, take care.
There is Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette Packers beat writer. Follow him on X by Ryan Wood. I'm the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Take a quick time out. Back after this. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you. Welcome in, Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Natty Oaks, National Avenue in West Dallas. Come on out, hang out with us. Oaks Fest starting tonight, going through Sunday, and you are not going to want to miss Oaks Fest. They've got live music going on each day of it, and lots of cool things to kind of check out, too, when you're here. First of all, they have a tiki bar that they're going to have going on outside. That's pretty cool. They got their own food truck that'll be outside as well from 5 until 9 o'clock tonight. They got the Whiskey Bells performing this afternoon from 5 to 7. Sons of Scotty performing from 7 until 10 o'clock. Definitely want to come out here. Check it out at Natty Oaks in West Dallas on National Avenue. Coming up in the next hour, time to talk about the crew. We'll talk with Jack Stern from Brewer Fanatic coming up at the top of the next hour. Adam Silver, the more he talks, the more I am concerned whether or not he is really the right commissioner for the NBA. So we'll dive into that coming up at 3:20. Charlie's Sounds of the Day comes up at 3:40, and we'll see what he has for us out there. Some rumors from Chris Haynes about another team that apparently is making plans to try and get their hands on Giannis if he becomes available. That's all coming up next on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is that time again as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Hope y'all are doing well here on a Thursday. Weekend is upon us out here at Natty Oaks for Oaks Fest. Live music going on all weekend starting tonight. Got their tiki bar outside, got their food truck. Great food specials going on, too. Had myself a smash burger earlier today. It was absolutely delicious. They give you a chocolate chip cookie. You get some fries. Man, it's the way to be out here at Natty Oaks. Plus, if you come out here, we got some free T-shirts while supplies last. All you got to do is come up, look for your size, grab it, and you are on your way. Would love to see some of our shirts walking around the state of Wisconsin. That would be a cool stuff. Thanks for listening around the state of Wisconsin. Thanks for listening to WNFL in Green Bay and Appleton on 99.7 FM. Thanks for listening to The Game in Duluth Superior. Always appreciate you all listening on 710 The Game up there. How about in Milwaukee, southeastern Wisconsin, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. And, of course, in Wausau on 93.9 The Game. And we will be adding to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network starting on Monday. We'll be adding another city to our map of stations around the state coming up. Joining us now here at 3 o'clock as we talk about the crew is Jack Stern from Brewer Fanatic. Jack joins us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Jack, how are we doing today, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Sparky?
Doing good. I saw your piece earlier today. I retweeted it because that's what I like to do for my buddies. And you put up a piece on Mizorowski and Mizorowski and Harrison talking about their fastballs. And I found it interesting, the quotes in the beginning of the piece. We'll work our way forward. But the quotes in the beginning from Pat Murphy, who, is older than you and I, but he talks about how baseball was, where first time you see the main pitch, okay. Second time, maybe you see the secondary pitch. Third time, okay, maybe it's a changeup that they haven't shown you, now you see it. And as he points out, nowadays, you might see all 5 pitches the guy has in the very first at-bat, and the game has changed in that way. I mean, you've coached baseball. You've obviously played in all of that. Talk about it from your perspective as far as how pitchers are working now versus maybe how they did it in the past.
So I think when you look at baseball now on all sides of the game, it's about getting as much athleticism as you possibly can. And not to say that it was never really about that. You want to give it your best whenever you have the opportunity to. That's how sports work. But with the development now and the sports science and all of this kind of stuff, I think in just about every single sport, athletes are quicker than they used to be. They're stronger than they used to be. They're capable of more things because they have more resources available to them. And that's the case for both hitting and for pitching. These guys are bigger. These guys are stronger. These guys are better than they've ever been. So you want to match your best with their best. So on the pitching side, that means that it's kind of shifted to stuff a little bit. How can we get guys throwing harder? How can we get guys making the ball move in more ways? And once you're able to do that, like Pat Murphy said, when you come out of the gates now in modern baseball, you're going to give them all of your best stuff at once. You're just trying to get that guy out one guy at a time. So if that means you have to throw them for maybe even in some cases 5 pitches for the really good pitchers who have those deeper arsenals, if you need to show them all of that early on, you're going to do it. So I think you do see it a little more in the way guys pitch now. If you have a bunch of good pitches, game planning has gotten really, really scientific. There's still an art to calling pitches and an art to how you're going to sequence pitches, but there's a lot more strategy that goes into it now. There's a lot more numbers that go into it now, knowing how each pitch is going to play to certain kinds of hitters. It's expanded a little bit. So kind of the point of the story was kind of leading it off that way. This is how it used to be. This is how it's kind of shifting now. But then you do have a couple guys in that rotation who don't have those deeper arsenals in Mizorowski and Harrison, and they're just going to come right at you.
Let's talk about it from how it used to be a little bit more, right? You had a guy like Jamie Moyer. I don't know if you even know who that is, but Jamie Moyer, who pitched in the big leagues for 30 years or whatever it was, and he just threw junk, essentially, is what you would call it, right? Salad, whatever you want to call it. But he would get guys out. He wasn't throwing the hardest, wasn't even close to throwing the hardest. He was older than dirt by the time he retired, but still figured it out. Now, in today's game, and you've coached at the college level and so forth. For you, if some kid is like, man, I want to be a pitcher, I want to pitch in D1 in college or whatever the case may be, what kind of velocity are we talking they have to have? And then if you're saying, okay, now I want to go try and make that run, through the minors, is there now a standard that did not exist before, where before you were a strike thrower, regardless of how hard you threw it, if you could get guys out, people didn't care. It feels like that has shifted now as far as how scouts are looking at pitchers and how they go about things.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to look very far. If you look to start at MLB, the average fastball velocity in MLB over the last 10 years, it's gone up quite a bit. And that kind of trickles down to every level underneath it. So if we're talking about college pitchers, guys who want to pitch at the upper levels of college, I think you got to be throwing probably at least 90 miles an hour, pushing it a little bit closer into the mid 90s, because that's what guys want to see. Velo is not the only key to getting guys out, but it's a big part of it. The whole point of pitching is you're trying to miss the barrel of the bat because you're disrupting their timing. And a good way to prevent guys from getting on time, especially at the college level and in the lower levels of the minor leagues, is throw velocity at them. Throw velocity that they don't see a whole lot. So that bar kind of keeps getting pushed higher and higher and higher. And then the more that you have more pitchers who are throwing hard, now you're looking for the outlier velocity that's above that. So if everybody's throwing 90, you're looking for the guy who's throwing 93. If everybody's throwing 93, you're looking for the guy who's throwing 96. Now that everybody in the big leagues throws 96, you're looking for the guy who throws 100. That's just kind of how it works, and it kind of keeps building up like that. So yeah, it's very much a big part of the way that guys go about it. And then once they get to the big league level, I think that's when you start to see, okay, you've got the velo. Now how can we maybe start to build in, develop some more pitches, use more of the tech, use more of the science, and then find a way to back up that fastball. But a lot of times you're seeing that velocity as a very big building block for a lot of these guys to get their foot in the door. And, there are exceptions to that rule still. You see some guys who don't quite have the velo and they're making it work in other ways. But a lot of times, one of the quickest ways to, like I said, disrupt timing and avoid the barrel, throw hard. That's going to get you a pretty good head start in a lot of cases.
Talk with Jack Stern, BrewerFanatic.com. Great piece up on the fastballs of Mizorowski and Harrison, how they're both using it maybe a little bit in different ways of how they attack hitters. Harrison is interesting because, again, Mizorowski, you knew coming up, okay, if he ever got his control, he was going to be a problem because of how hard he threw. We all knew that, but people in his minor league career are like, he's going to be a reliever. Like he can't do everything else that you need, and now he's figured it out. Harrison, on the other hand, he also was a prospect coming up in the Giants system. It wasn't like he came out of nowhere, and it just never worked out the way they wanted. Then he goes to the Red Sox. They did more harm than good, I think, when he got there. And now the Brewers bring him in, and you're talking about changing where he's releasing the ball, his arm angle and all of that, and how that's changed. And the other part about it, too, is with that fastball, he's got side movement of like 3 inches or something crazy like that with his fastball that I think also is helping him to play in. And he's throwing, 95, 96? It's not like he's a soft tosser himself.
No, and I think that a lot of what he's doing comes back to, they did shift him over on the rubber a little bit to play the angles game a little bit because he's so crossbody. But I think a lot of what you're seeing is they just have him using his body better. Like I asked him a few weeks ago when the Brewers are playing in Detroit about the arm slot thing, and he said that wasn't really intentional, that it raised a few inches. Like that wasn't something they were necessarily trying to do. But I'm wondering, okay, if you have him using his body a little bit better, if he's into his lower half more, if he's driving down the mound better, do some of these things just start to naturally click and you see him kind of slide into maybe what more of his most natural arm slot was the entire time. And that's where you start seeing like the velo a little more. You start seeing the shape on his fastball improve. He's got a unique fastball because it's more of that. It's got some carry to it, but like you kind of alluded to, it's got some arm side movement more than you would normally see from a four-seamer because he just stays behind the baseball so well. Most pitchers nowadays, when they throw their fastballs, they're not staying perfectly behind the ball. A lot of them are getting a little bit to the outside of it. He doesn't do that. He's right behind that ball, so he's getting pure backspin on that thing from that kind of funky slot where he's still pretty low to the ground releasing it compared to a lot of different pitchers. So Miz has kind of the same thing going on. He doesn't get the same amount of backspin, but it's, extension and velo and all of this stuff that can measure all of it. Basically, the gist of it is it's decent velo to begin with already for Harrison, and then the freakish velo for Miz and then you combine some of the things about the way that they throw the baseball, it just makes those fastballs enter the strike zone at a really, really unusual angle where usually when you're seeing a guy pitch as a hitter, guy's coming down the mound, he's coming down toward you. So it's going to look like that baseball, that fastball is coming in on kind of that downward plane toward the plate. When these guys throw you their fastballs, it doesn't look like that. Sometimes it looks kind of flat and just hangs up there. Sometimes it might almost look like the ball is kind of rising or it's kind of going down to up instead of up to down. And that's just a very, very tough pitch for guys to get on top of, even if they know it's coming. So I think you're just seeing two guys who have gotten a lot better at using their bodies and then just kind of the natural things that they can do with their fastballs, the way that they spin them, the way they move, the angles that they come in at. It's not normal. And you're kind of seeing that reflected in the fact that they can just keep throwing in a lot of these starts, not all of them, but in a lot of these starts, one fastball after another, and guys just aren't doing much with them.
It's interesting because you hear everybody always go, wow, what's the Brewers' secret sauce? Why are they so good at developing pitchers? Like, what are they doing that everybody else isn't doing? And then you hear, whoa, it's that damn pitching lab. They've got something figured out in that pitching lab more than everybody else. And was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Kyle Harrison was on with, was it Brian Kenny, I think, on MLB Now. And Brian Kenny said something along the lines of, oh, did they get you into their lab and do all this other stuff? And as you listen to him talk and that snippet that I saw on X, at the very end, he starts talking about, they're very big on doing drills. So you're repeating the same thing that they want you to repeat and working on that more than trying to figure out 5 different pitches to throw and everything else. They're just trying to get you to repeat everything. Then, was it yesterday or 2 days ago on the TV broadcast, they show a picture of Shane Drowan before a pitch on the mound in April to now how he's standing on the mound and where he's standing on the mound in May. And again, they physically changed how he looks even before the pitch is even thrown. There needs to be a hell of a lot more credit thrown at the coaches that are helping these guys out, because it ain't no lab. It's nothing else. It's 3 human beings that have really figured out how to put players in the best position to succeed. And you can say the same thing about hitting with Vogelbach, working with Jake Bauers, and essentially telling him, dude, quit thinking so much. Just get up there, see ball, hit ball, and don't worry about it. And it really kind of freed up Bauers, I think, to a certain point there. These coaches deserve a lot more credit than I think they get than they're given. Yeah,
and like to the point of the pitching lab, this is something I try to tell people. I think there's a pretty big misconception about what it is that the Brewers have in a quote-unquote lab compared to the rest of baseball. Like, everybody has a pitching lab. Everybody has had a pitching lab for years now. The Brewers were one of the first, maybe 10 years ago. Everybody's got a lab now where they have all these numbers on how your stuff moves. I mean, I coach a D3 college team in southern Wisconsin. We have our own pitching lab. Like, everybody has this now. What the Brewers have that I'm not sure.
You have your own pitching lab?
It's not. It's not
you
like
have a pitching lab?
It's not insanely high
we
tech.
We got to shoot video. No, we got to shoot video in the pitching lab. Like, you and me in the pitching lab, and you get my velo up to like 90. I'm in. Let's go do this. This is fun.
I can't promise that. We did some media bullpens last year, though, where we had a couple of the writers come out. So maybe you can join us this year.
Nice.
But to get back to my point, like, what the Brewers do that other teams don't, I think, is they're going to work with what you're good at. And then, like you talked about, they're going to focus a little bit more, first of all, on the physicality side of it. Just how are you using your body? How strong are you? Are you moving in the way that you can move the most repeatably, the most naturally, all that kind of stuff? And I don't know this for sure about other teams, but I do wonder if other teams get into the habit of actually jumping into one side of the lab and doing all the pitch design stuff and tinkering with that before they really get their ducks in order with, are you moving well? Are you moving repeatably? Chris Hook is really, really, really good at that kind of stuff. And the whole idea is if you get that stuff down on the side and you work on it, you make it repeatable, it's natural to you, you're going to be able to do that in a game without overthinking things. And then once you have all that stuff in place, then you can maybe get into a little more of, okay, what pitches should we throw more? What pitches should we throw less? What pitches can you even throw? You kind of touched on it with Kyle Harrison. I don't know 100% like how he feels about what the Red Sox did with his development, but it kind of felt to me like they were putting him in a box. They tried to get him to throw 2 different pitches added to his arsenal that he naturally was not going to be in a good position to throw. He's not a guy who's going to throw a very good 2-seamer. He's not a guy who's going to throw a very good cutter because of his mechanics and his body and how his hand works. They had him trying to do that. He got to the Brewers and they said, no more cutters. Like, throw this good fastball. Let's work on moving this way.
But that's crazy though, Jack, right? Because they're all about adding cutters to everybody's repertoire in the Brewers organization. For them to go to a pitcher and go, no cutter, I'm sure people passed out all around the team when they heard those words get uttered to a pitcher.
So they're all about adding cutters for guys who can throw cutters. For a while, they had a lot of guys like Bryce Wilson, Colin Ray. They had Aaron Savali for a little bit, and they didn't necessarily add the cutter for all those guys, but they had them using the cutter more. Those are all guys who kind of, like I talked about earlier, they get to the outside of the baseball a little bit, which means you can do more things with it. You can throw a four-seamer, like a mediocre four-seamer. You can cut the ball for a cutter. You can get it to sink a little more because you can do some fancy things with the seams that I'm not going to talk about right now. Kyle Harrison can't do that because of where he is on the baseball. The same things that make his four-seamer really good are the same things that kind of limit him from throwing some of those other pitches. So that's where you have to credit the Brewers, though. They simplified things. They stuck to what he was good at, and then they kind of improved on the ways that he can use his body and found what's most natural for him. It's not this secret sauce. It's not the same blueprint for every single pitcher. This is what good coaching looks like. When you know the player, you understand that not every guy is the same guy. You focus on some of these little details and you build things up. You don't make it overly complicated. You don't just rush to go into the quote unquote lab and do all these fancy high tech things with him. There is a lot of simplicity to it. And I think that's kind of where the Brewers jump out from some other organizations. Everybody has the same information. Everybody has a lot of the same tools. It's how you use it. And maybe when you don't choose to use it. And I think that's where the Brewers coaches have some very, very, very good discretion with how to develop a lot of these players.
He is Jack Stern. He is very, very, very good. Check him out at Brewer Fanatic. Follow him on X as well at by Jack Stern. I've only got one more for you, and that is this whole Cardinals fiasco with Uribe. I mean, Marmol comes out and says, "Oh, it's pointing in my head." There's video all over X. He's pointing to his ribs. Like, it's clear as day. You got Marmol apparently yelling at Vogelbach about stealing signs or whatever was going on over there, and mad about that. We haven't had Brewers-Cardinals rivalry at all since Matheny. Like, there's been no reason to. There's really nobody on that team that I think anybody really dislikes necessarily, like there has been over the years. This may fire it back up, and I understand Murphy didn't like the crotch chop. I understand that, and I get that. But if all that crap was really going on, and Uribe saw it, and Uribe said, "The hell with this. Nobody else is going to do anything. I'll do something about it," to let them know we know. It'll be interesting to see what this looks like the next time these two teams see each other.
Yeah, everybody was kind of trying to downplay it on the final day of that series, but you never know. Like, it's hard to imagine in my mind that the tension just magically disappeared all of a sudden. And look, it was interesting for sure. I think in Abner's case, everybody was pretty much on the same page that the execution was not very appropriate, but he told us that he was basically trying to show his teammates that he had their backs when he heard some of these things about what was being said. And I think, you know, if that's what you're thinking, I do think your heart is in the right place. He's an emotional guy, just probably did not go about it in the best way. But on the Cardinals side, like, there were a bunch of reporters that went to Marmol's scrum where he talked about this stuff. I wasn't there. I was writing about fastball shapes because that's what I do. But the stuff that he said when he said that he was talking about, because he admitted he was telling them, like, they were suspicious that the Brewers were doing some sign stealing stuff that I'm not even entirely sure is actually outside of the unwritten rules. But they were basically telling them, if you keep doing this kind of stuff, that's how guys get hurt. And then he also said that he never implied or told anyone to hit anyone. But if you're saying this is how guys get hurt, I'm not sure there's really any other way to read that. Or even if that's not your intention, how do you expect other people to read that? So, you know, I don't know that this needed to become what it did, but it did. And we'll kind of see how the tensions carry over. But it is a little bit hard for me to believe that this isn't entirely over. We'll see what happens the next two times that these teams face off.
I definitely don't think it's over, and there will be benches clearing here at some point. The question is, will Murphy punch Marmol? And if he does, will Marmol go down? Because I think if Murphy punches Marmol, I don't think Marmol's getting up. I don't care how old Pat Murphy is, Jack Stern. I got Pat Murphy in that fight.
I don't know how Murph would handle it. My guess is he wouldn't go that far, but I do know that he, in his free time, he likes to do some work on the punching bag, and he pulls out the boxing gloves and does a little bit of that stuff.
Back in the day. Yeah, he boxed back in the day. I'm telling you, he'd lay Marmol out. It'd be over. Jack Stern, thank you so much for coming on, man. Everybody go read BrewFanatic.com today. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sparky.
Take care. Follow him again on X at @ByJackStern. It's Let's Talk About the Crew. He joined us on the guest hotline. Pod Gruber Law, one call, that's all. What do I see in my video screen? There he is, Mr. Aaron Morris, back there in the studio with Charlie Hughes. And Aaron will be doing the show with me tomorrow because Charlie is off. There's Charlie. Charlie is off tomorrow and Saturday, so you'll hear Aaron on the show tomorrow. You'll hear Aaron on Saturday morning on Garbini and on Golf from 7 to 9. You'll hear him with Don and Dan on College Sports Weekly from 9 to 11 as we continue to throw Aaron in. And the June schedule just came out. Aaron will be on damn near every show in June. So welcome in. Just throw you into the fire, Aaron. Hope you survive.
Yeah, well, I'm surviving so far, so that's a good thing. But there's plenty of more time for me to not survive. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
You'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. Coming up next, everything is not fine with me listening to Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA. Everything is definitely not fine. I have questions now before I was okay with Adam Silver. I didn't really have issues. Now I think I've got some issues. I do not have issues, however, with Wendy's. Try their new cookie dough frosty fusion. It's the ultimate feel-good snack. Everything from the cookie dough to the brownie batter sauce was made for max happiness. Go grab a new cookie dough frosty fusion today and get that dopamine flowing. Get it? Dopamine. Yeah, like cookie dough. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Dueling producers today, like a dueling piano. Charlie Using and Aaron Morris doing their thing back in Hales Corners as we are here in West Allis. Natty Oaks, National Avenue. Live music going all weekend starting tonight. Got Tiki Bar outside, got the food truck outside. Those smash burgers are amazing. All kinds of different beers that you can have here, including John Kuhn's Yingling beer is here too that you can have out here at Natty Oaks to take advantage of that. Beautiful outdoor patio. People will be sitting out there partying all weekend long. I'm telling you, tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Natty Oaks, National Avenue. Beautiful weather, sunshine all weather. It'll be good. Come check it out. Adam Silver is quickly becoming on my list of guys that I don't want running a sport. It really is. And the question is, do you think he's the right man for the job? Now, that was the question we came up with at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, since that occurred, and this was just going off of comments he made yesterday, doing interviews in the media, but I just got this at the top of the hour. The NBA Board of Governors today approved a new NBA draft lottery system designed to eliminate incentives for teams to prioritize their position in the draft over winning games. The 3-2-1 lottery expands the lottery from 14 to 16 teams and flattens odds among teams that do not qualify for the NBA playoffs or NBA play-in tournament. The new system will take effect beginning with next year's draft in 2027. The flattening of odds and draft relegation. Each team participating in the draft lottery will receive 3, 2, or 1 lottery ball for the drawing. Teams that do not qualify for the NBA playoffs or NBA play-in tournament will receive 3 lottery balls each, except that to provide an increased incentive to win, the teams with the 3 worst records will be draft relegated and lose 1 of their lottery balls. The number 9 and 10 play-in seeds in each conference will receive 2 lottery balls each, while the losers of the 7 and 8 play-in games each conference will receive 1 lottery ball each. Are you following that?
I think so. I think I'm caught up on this.
The teams with the 3 worst records will be draft relegated and lose 1 of their lottery balls. So, if you are the 4th worst team, you get 3 lottery balls. If you are the worst team, 2nd worst team, or 3rd worst team, you only get 2 lottery balls. Then the number 9 and 10 play-in seed in each conference will receive 2 lottery balls. And then the losers of the 7 versus 8 play-in games in each conference will receive 1 lottery ball each. Okay. Lottery balls allocated to all 16 participating teams will be drawn to determine the order of selection for the first 16 picks in the first round of the NBA draft. Now, if I'm reading that correctly, and you tell me if I'm missing this, before they were drawing, what was it? The top 4, was it, Charlie?
Yeah, top 4, I believe.
So this says lottery balls allocated to all 16 participating teams will be drawn to determine the order. So are they drawing all 16 slots and not just the top 3 or 4 anymore?
That's what it sounds like. And I think that would, in theory, give these other teams a better chance to get that spot, I would assume, right?
Yeah, but I'm still not understanding how this works. So, like, are you drawing, okay, first pick. This is for the first pick. Boom, I get a Milwaukee Bucks ping pong ball. So now do they stop, go in, take out all the other Bucks ping pong balls that are left, and then go, okay, this is number 2. And then that team wins. If they have extra balls, they have to go in there and pull them out. And then they do 3, then 4, and then all the way to 16. Is that how this is going to work?
I think that's how this is going to work based on what we're hearing here. Again, this all just sounds really convoluted, in my opinion. That's my biggest problem with all this. And this is what we've heard people having concerns with this whole changing the lottery rules. Like, you're just creating more ways, in my mind, by creating more rules that you will not understand as a league, that you will not understand as a commissioner. This says each draft relegated team, so of the 3 worst picks, 3 worst teams, will receive at worst the number 12 pick in the NBA draft. All other lottery teams can fall as far as the number 16 pick. All right. Yeah, I think in theory, I'm okay with this. I also feel like this is going to be a way for the commissioner, for the NBA, for owners to all misinterpret rules, get around rules because nobody knows all the rules that are going. It's going to be like a pass interference in football where everybody is complaining about it constantly, week in, week out.
I absolutely hate this. Now, I will say from an entertainment standpoint, it will make their little draft lottery show far more interesting, and there'll be far more fans tuning in based on how they have this set up. I mean, could you imagine being the worst team in the league and you draft 12? Oh, my goodness gracious.
I would not be very happy.
Then they have pick restrictions. No team's pick will be permitted to be the first pick in 2 consecutive NBA drafts or a top 5 pick in 3 consecutive NBA drafts. These restrictions will apply only to each team's own pick without regard to whether that pick has been retained by the team or traded to and thus held by another team. Pick protection. Teams will be unable to attach top 12 through top 15 protections to newly traded draft picks. The league will have expanded disciplinary authority to address tanking, including the ability to reduce teams' lottery odds, modify teams' draft positions, and impose significant fines on offending teams.
Do you think that's actually going to come into practice? Do you think the NBA is
Sure.
going to actually strong arm their own teams? Like, I don't feel
I do.
like that's the case.
I do. I think they will. But it will not be called the New York Knicks. It will not be
It'll
called
be
the LA Lakers.
the
It will
Boston
not be called the
Celtics.
Boston Celtics. It could be called the Milwaukee Bucks. It could be called, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes, those teams, I think they absolutely will strong arm. Do I think they're going to strong arm their large market teams to make sure they get screwed? Absolutely freaking not. No. I mean, this whole thing seems now, if you want to be real, Mr. Silver, and we're going to do it this way, broadcasting ping pong balls on TV now going forward. Broadcast the whole thing for us to see, because now this whole way you have it all screwed up now there's really going to be people thinking there's crap going on behind the scenes, regardless if there's somebody in the room or not. So go ahead, broadcast it on TV, and let's see what it looks like. Aaron, what do you think of this mess?
Well, I'm wondering why only one team or one owner voted against it. 29 of the 30 owners voted for this. The Grizzlies were the only team to say no to this. So I'm wondering what the incentive is for some of these smaller market teams like the Bucks, let's say. And I know the Bucks, have a superstar right now, but they might not have one in the next coming weeks. So what's the incentive for them or for the Timberwolves or for the Trailblazers to agree to this?
But Aaron, that's the point that I don't understand. If you're again, right? So who is voting now? I assume it's Wes Eden still voting, but why would you vote for this when you know a big part of any Giannis deal has to be future ones? Now, in my opinion, any future one for a bad team doesn't mean jack crap anymore. Now it literally takes all of that away. Now the idea of, okay, we're going to get so-and-so's team's bad pick. Well, the year you get it, if they've had back-to-back years of being bad and now you have their pick, do you now get screwed at that point, or do you get the ability to still have a good pick? I mean, there's so many things that are outliers here, or you get the pick and they fall to 12. They don't fall to 5 or 6. They fall to 12 with that pick that you get from them. That's even worse.
Could this open up other teams for a Giannis trade? Because the picks are a little more even now, so you don't have to have maybe the worst of the worst.
Yes.
Is that maybe a reason? I mean,
right. But the other part of this is
buying in.
Yes, you're right. But the other part of this is now the demand for really high-end young players that are in the NBA now being attached to a deal now has to happen. Now, if Atlanta's involved, I need Jalen Williams, right? I need high-end guys. This can't be I'm taking 8 first-round picks and salary filler for a year. Now it's I've got to figure out how I can build a core. And the more we think about this and the more we talk about it, I'm convinced this is going to, if this goes down with Giannis, if he decides he doesn't want to come back, this is going to be a 3 or 4 team trade where they're getting assets from multiple teams and not just a straight up Bucks Heat deal like I think a lot of people think is going to happen.
Well, the only way they get a fair deal is if it is multiple teams. I don't think you have any chance of
salaries correctly and get the fair package back with just one other team.
Yeah,
correct.
You got to have multiple teams in it. Otherwise, there's just no package out there other than maybe the Thunder or the Spurs could put one together. Outside of those teams, you wouldn't ever get a fair deal in a 1-for-1.
Agreed. I want to play some of Adam Silver from yesterday. He was on, what was it, Pat McAfee show.
Pat McAfee, yep.
It's Silver talking about the whole flopping thing going on in the NBA. And obviously that's become a thing because the entire Thunder team should, get some type of award for the amount of acting that's being done in this series against San Antonio. Really, they've been doing it all year. Play this clip from Adam Silver.
I would only say that there's a difference between selling a call, exaggeration, and a true flop, which is where you're actually fooling the referees. I think sometimes, even as I sit in the stands at games, players may be falling down, players may be reacting to a call, but then to me, if they're not fooling the referees, it's like, okay, that's like the players are taught to sell calls these days. I mean, can officiating get bad? Can officiating get better? Of course. We're always working on that. Can officials get fooled occasionally? We're always looking at that as well. But the officiating is incredible. I will also add one other piece to it, because I know there's always controversy around certain calls. There's one you were talking about on your show earlier today.
This is my thing. I think he needs contacts. Glasses, something
He wears
along those
glasses,
lines.
doesn't he?
If you stronger glasses, I don't know what to tell you. Get the Coke bottle ones. You have got to get to a point where you can look at what's happening in this Thunder Spurs series and be like, man, this is ridiculous. I've seen Spurs players saying, hey, man, they get to play more physical than we do. And if we play that physical, they're blowing the whistle. My counter to that is, this is how the NBA's been for 20 or 30 years. If you play physical all season, they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt in the playoffs too and be like, oh, that's just the Thunder. If you're a finesse soft team and that's how you play all year and now you want to amp it up and go after the other team, they're going to blow the whistle because that's not you. Everybody that talks about, whoa, Shaq never gets fouls called on him. Oh, Giannis never gets fouls. But you establish the physicalness of which you're going to play with. So, yes, people hacking Shaq and hacking Giannis and them not blowing whistles, fair. Totally. How many times did Giannis throw an elbow or take somebody out that they also didn't call a foul because it's Giannis and he plays physical, lowering his shoulder and running over a guy? Same with Shaq and some of these other physical dudes. So it goes along with style of play. The issue I have isn't that. I'm fine doing it the way they're doing it. My issue is when you're flopping and nobody touches you. Like, that's the stuff that drives me crazy, Charlie.
Well, and some of these other players, I feel like they don't put up enough of a contest when something like that happens. Like Shea will just fall over right in front of them without them like barely touching them. They just walk away. They just let it happen. I think it's because they are accepting this defeat of, oh, the NBA and Shea and OKC are all on this team together. But to your point, that's just what they've been doing all season. So they're just going to continue to get that. When the Spurs are going into these games and all of a sudden are beating up on every single player on the OKC Thunder, that's not who the Spurs have been all season. They've been a really tough defensive team, but they've been a very clean defensive team all season. So where is this coming from, to your point? And I think with Giannis and Shaq is people forget is they do get a ton of foul calls still, like even without getting as much as they should, because clearly they're not getting as many as they deserve. When Shaq was playing, when Giannis is playing now, they're still getting 12 free throws a game. That's still a lot of free throws a game, and it's consistent with Giannis every time he's on the court. So he's getting that type of recognition from the referees. Yes, maybe it should be more, but I don't want to sit there and watch a basketball game where I'm just watching guys take free throws back and forth over and over and over again. And that's what would happen if you called every Giannis foul.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. Where's the line, right? So when you get into the playoffs in the NBA, normally over the course of time, that's when the more physical play is allowed to happen, and the ticky-tack stuff goes away. That's regular season. You might have some of that. In the playoffs, you're allowed to play a little bit more physical. But again, the issue, I think, more than anything else, like you said, is the players for the Spurs aren't overreacting and screaming and jumping up and down. They just got to throw their hands up and walk away. Now, that very well may be because their head coach, Mitch Johnson, is like, I'll take care of this. You don't get kicked out or do nothing. I got it over here. It's just like when Mitch Johnson wanted to challenge the one play, and Tony Brothers just ignored him, and they just ran the next play. He's like, wait a second, hold on. The ball was off the other guy's foot. No, we're not reviewing it. And they kept on. That's the stuff, to me, as a fan, I don't care about the Thunder or the Spurs. I'm a Bucks fan. I don't care who wins this stupid series. But for me, that's the stuff that's alarming. And I promise you, if that was the Bucks taking on the Thunder right now, we would be losing our collective minds. Sure. And all Bucks fans would be like, they hate small markets. They hate Giannis. They hate Milwaukee. Screw the NBA. I'm never watching again. That's what would be happening. And maybe that is happening in San Antonio, but that would be the reaction, Aaron, I think, of everybody in the state.
Well, yeah, it would be the only thing we've been talking about on the show so far. But also, I think that when Charlie was bringing up Shaq and Giannis before, there has to be, you mentioned a line, but there has to be a line in terms of, okay, these guys aren't getting as many fouls as they maybe deserve, but the Thunder are getting more foul calls than they deserve. So either you're going to bring the Thunder fouls down or you're going to bring the Bucks fouls up. And however you want to do it, if you want to call less fouls, you don't want to have as many free throws, well, then the Thunder have to come down. And this has to be a league-driven issue because the refs are clearly they have something in their mind that this is how we're calling fouls. This is what we agree are fouls. So the league has to have some sort of they have to dictate that to the refs this offseason. Hey, this is going to go on no longer because otherwise we are going to just keep having this issue over and over and over every year the league goes on.
This is my thing. You want to get rid of the acting stuff that's going on? You allow every team throughout the season to send in 3 plays in which they think somebody was acting or whatever the case may be. And if found to be true, that player is suspended for however many games they're found to have done that. So if they send in 3 plays in SGA and all 3 he's not touching, he just flops on the ground, you're out the next 3 games, man. You want to fix it? That's how you fix it. If you're going to rely on a human being to blow a whistle one way or another, it's not going to get fixed. It's never going to get fixed.
Well, but the problem is that guy's your reigning back-to-back MVP. You
I don't give a damn. I don't care who it is.
I know.
The
I know
rules
you
would
don't
apply
care.
to
but
everybody,
the
though.
NBA cares. I know you don't care,
which is a problem.
I know
Yes.
Adam Silver cares.
But the fans, don't care. That's the problem. Okay, the league cares, but the league should care about what the fans are thinking about, and that they clearly don't understand what's going on in the fan bases across the league.
Correct, but the league cares more about TV revenue than they care about the fans. So if you continue to put out press releases like they have this year, most watched season ever, most watched playoffs ever, most watched this, much like that, Adam Silver's like, I don't care what they think. They're all still watching. If the numbers go away and they're mad, then we'll address it. Otherwise, it's fine. We're just going to move on. Charlie Hughes and Aaron Moore's dual producing today on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you coming up. Charlie, sounds of the day. Don't forget, step up to the plate. Take a shot at winning major prizes in the $300,000 Big League Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. April through June, you could win a share of $300,000 in prizes. All monthly promo entries count towards the grand finale drawings on June 26th. Get triple the entries during Brewers home games and score one of 3 all-new Toyota vehicles. More info online. Must be 21 and rewards member to play. Only at Potawatomi. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here at Natty Oaks, National Avenue, West Allis. Oaks Fest going on today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Live music, tiki bar outside, food truck outside, great smash burgers, food and beverages. Come hang out with us today and tomorrow, noon to 5, here at Natty Oaks. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Fiver with you at Natty Oaks in West Allis. Oaks Fest going on today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Today at Natty Oaks in West Allis on National Avenue. You got the Whiskey Bells coming up from 5 until 7 o'clock performing on the patio. Sons of Scotty performing out in the grassy area from 7 until 10. Got the Tiki Bar open at 4. The Fruit Truck out here from 5 until 9 o'clock tonight. Got 50-50 raffle going on tonight as well. So definitely want to come on out here, hang out today, tomorrow, out here from noon until 5. Mitch Thunder Nellis will be out here from noon until 2. Josh will be out here from Inside Wisconsin Sports having his big old bowl of chili tomorrow as well. And then I'll be out here from 2 until 5 doing Wisconsin Sports Daily too. Normally we do Charlie Sounds of the Day here in this segment, but because that last segment went a little bit long, which has been the theme of this show, everything goes long, we will get to it coming up more around 4:20 or so. We'll move Charlie Sounds today to 4:20. Things that Sparky missed comes up at 4:40. So definitely want to stay tuned for all of that. Green and Gold update coming up next at 4 o'clock. We already talked with Ryan Wood from the Green Bay Press Gazette Packers beat writer back in the first hour. We did not adjust the news on defense as far as who gets the green dot. A little bit surprising who they decided on. We'll get to that coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time again as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here on a Thursday. Natty Oaks, West Dallas National Avenue. Oaks Fest is going on today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Live food, tiki bar, food truck. Great food here. I've ate here several times, and everything you get is delicious. I had smash burger earlier today for lunch. It was amazing. Fries, little chocolate chip cookie go with it. Man, oh man. That is the way to go. We're going to get into our Packers stuff. Also, Charlie Sounds of the Day comes up in the next segment, and then Things Sparky Missed. And Things Sparky Missed, we're reading some of these text messages because I was just checking, and I do this every time I'm on location somewhere. I forget about reading the text messages. So got a bunch of text messages to go through on the different topics we have addressed today. So I apologize to y'all for not reading your text messages throughout the show. All right, let's talk some Packers.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Okay, so we had Ryan Wood on earlier in the show. If you missed it, go back, listen, wisportsradio.com, wherever you download your favorite podcast at. Just search Wisconsin Sports Daily, or you can also text Sparky, S-P-A-R-K-Y, to the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250, to get a link to today's show. Just text Sparky to the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250, to get a link to today's show. Now, we had the OTAs yesterday. One of the things we did not get into with Ryan Wood on purpose, because I wanted to talk about it here at 4 o'clock, was the green dot. Now, Charlie, you being the former college football player that you are, tell everybody what the green dot signifies on the defensive side of the football field.
So the green dot is typically the captain of the defense. It's usually one of the middle linebackers, maybe a safety if they have the safety come down in the box a lot. But the guy who's calling all the plays for the coach, has the microphone in his helmet, is relaying all those calls and stuff. And again, is usually a veteran leader of that group.
Okay. So in the past, Quay Walker has been that guy wearing the green dot. And some have felt like maybe Xavier McKinney could be that guy wearing the green dot because of obviously how good he is. He's a safety, like Charlie said. Again, you're all in the huddle together type deal when you're calling the play. You all don't have to be on top of each other to call the play necessarily once you break the huddle. So he can do that. He also can make the sight adjustments as well from what he is seeing if he wants to audible into something else and make that call. So that would have been a possibility if you wanted to go with Xavier McKinney. Then the other option you may have had is to go with the young up-and-comer, a guy that you think is the future of your defense in Edgerrin Cooper, and put that responsibility on his shoulders. Now, if you give it to Edgerrin Cooper, I think you're pretty much telling Edgerrin Cooper, you got to know everything. You got to know everything. You don't need to know your position. If you're going to be audibling and making these calls, you got to know where you're putting the defensive lineman. You got to know everything. So information overload time, baby, between now and the start of the season. You got to figure this all out. Are you capable? Do you want this responsibility? Now, I don't know Edgerrin Cooper, so I don't know what his mentality is. I do know this much. There are people that I've worked over the course of my career that want absolutely nothing to do with management. Nope, I'm good. I don't want anything to do with it. You all can have the responsibility. I don't want to be anywhere part of it. Okay. Like, oh, all right. So in this instance here, I'm not saying they offered him and he said no, but maybe some guys just don't want to have that responsibility of calling the plays, having to know everything else. They instead went with Zaire Franklin. Now, when the Packers got Zaire Franklin, many of you blasted me for liking the move. Many blasted me. You're an idiot. What are you talking about? Well, I watched him in Indy. I'm a Colts fan too. So I've watched the majority of his career. Yeah, he wasn't good last year. I agreed. But he is smart. He does know what the hell he's doing. And he's played in a bunch of different defenses in Indianapolis as they rotate coaching staffs in and out of there. So he's been in all of these situations. And he has a relationship with Gannon. So when the news comes out yesterday of, Zaire Franklin's got the green dot, what do you think happened? I look at the comments as people just going off. Oh, what are we doing? What a stupid move that was. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody's mad at the Packers and Gannon for giving Zaire Franklin the green dot. So I said, okay, fine. Let's bring it to the radio. Let's see how many of you that want to comment on X are willing to actually call in or text in with your reasoning of why you don't want it to be Zaire Franklin. So are you for it or are you against it? Zaire Franklin having that green dot. Nicolay Law Talk text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Don't forget, we are streaming live on X, on YouTube, on Instagram Live, and on the Fan Facebook page in Milwaukee as well. Charlie, I'll come to you first, being the former college football player that you are. What say you?
I think when I look at this Packers defense and all the options that could have had that green dot, first of all, I think Xavier McKinney's that first guy that is that option for the Green Bay Packers in my mind as a leader of this defense. As much as I want to say Adrian Cooper could get that green dot at some point for this team, it's not right now. And I don't want to see what happened with Quay Walker, where I felt like he got hesitant when he was given that extra responsibility of having to go out there and get that, be that leader for this defense and get that kind of growth as a player for this defense. That I think that became a problem for him later on, especially these past couple of seasons where you just saw his pass defense slow down because he wasn't instinctually all there. I think you saw Adrian Cooper this past season as a player who towards the end of the year could be a pass rusher for you, could be a guy who's going to fly into these gaps and make a play for this defense on a consistent basis. But at the same time, I want him to be able to continue to do that and grow as that type of player and not really take a step back by trying to take on more responsibility for this defense.
Absolutely. 1,000% correct. You want Adrian Cooper to run freely and not have to think 2 and 3 times over. You don't want Adrian Cooper's head to still have in his head when the ball gets snapped, oh no, I should have changed it to something else. And all of a sudden he misses something because he's still thinking of something, a call that he may have missed that eventually he gets gashed on. Now, instead of talking about what he needs to work on and needs to get better, now we're having coaches talk to him about, why didn't you all into this call? Why didn't you make this decision? Why didn't you make that decision? Now he's really getting sidetracked in all of this. And actually giving it to Zaire Franklin, again, like I've said before, makes the most sense because he is a veteran. He's been around. He's been a leader of a locker room before. Now you're going to put him in a position to do this as well. This makes sense, folks. This is the right move. For those of you that think, whoa, he's never going to last, he won't be there very long. Well, clearly Jonathan Gannon thinks that Zaire Franklin is going to be there for a while as the starting linebacker, right? He's going to have to make serious mistakes in order to lose that job at this point. Let's go to John in Franklin. You're next here on Wisconsin Sports Daily and the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. What's going on, John? What's up, John? Oh, hold on. We're having some technical issues. We'll get to John in Franklin momentarily. Just hold on the line there. But, I mean, that's the thing there. When we start talking about, what you want, what's the best case scenario? Yes, Xavier McKinney could be an option. Absolutely. But Xavier McKinney, once you break that huddle, now he's way back on the back end. He's got to make his own audible calls on the back end for the corners and the safeties. You give him the responsibility of the green dot. Now he's got to make calls up front too. So to me, it makes a lot more sense to have it be this dude, Adrian Cooper, up front. Not Adrian Cooper, but Franklin, and then have McKinney be the guy in the backside with the audible calls. All right, let's try this again. John in Franklin, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's up, John?
Hey, Spark, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I got you, buddy. What's going on?
All right. Look, it's great. We're talking some Packers here, some positive Packers news. I am totally fine with it. I'm leaning into whatever they want to do with Gannon. Okay, he wasn't my first choice, but that's the choice that's been made.
Yep.
So let's go and let's see what kind of program he wants to run. I'm hearing it's supposed to be a kicking butt, aggressive defense. And, I've been waiting since since I was skinny for that. It's been a long time since the Packers had a defense that threw the fear of God into our division opponents. So if this is what they want to do, they were after Franklin for a long time, apparently. Well, they got him, and yeah, he's on the backside of it. But if we get a year or two good out of him, and then he can train the guys behind him, Cooper included, I'm leaning in. Let's go get him.
There you go, John. I knew I'd bring you around there. Thank you for the call, John. See,
Yep.
I need everybody to be like John and Franklin. That's really what we should strive to be, right? He's here. You may not have liked that he's here, but he's here. So now let's support the decision to bring him in. And especially when you hear Cootie's been wanting him for like 6 years. 6 years? I mean, you want to talk about being in love with somebody. That's love. I mean, borderline stalking at this point, Charlie. Be chasing somebody for 6 years. Like, if you were chasing a girl for 6 years, you probably have a restraining order at this point.
Probably. I also think trading 2 second-round picks for a player could be seen as infatuation with said player, and that would make more sense to cut the veteran player, and that your argument with Ryan Wood kind of falls apart there a little bit. If they like a player,
Two seventh rounders.
Yeah.
2 7th rounders. Yeah. Right. That would be like trading two of you for Aaron.
I don't think in the NFL. I don't think in the NFL. I'm not.
What are we talking about?
They
No.
value their picks pretty high, though. The Packers do.
I don't care. 7th round picks are as valuable as undrafted free agents at this point to me. I could care less. Now, again, if they traded a 3rd and a 4th to move up to the 2nd round to take a kicker, then yes. Then clearly I understand. He's got to be the kicker. My point on that conversation with Ryan Wood earlier, since Charlie wants to sidetrack me, was real nice and simple. Brian Gutekunst stunk out loud at trying to find a kicker to replace Mason Crosby. It was horrible. Then got lucky that McManus had off-the-field issues that he was cleared of and was able to go and sign with the Packers. Because if he did not have those off-the-field issues, he would have been signed the previous offseason by somebody else and never would have been available. So he got lucky. Then he kicked well. He signed him to a new deal. He has a bad offseason. And then in the regular season, he was kicking hurt the whole time. The coach and him are going back and forth in the media at each other. And now you've decided that you know how to analyze a kicker, Brian Gutekunst. You decided, I know what I'm doing this time. With all due respect, I don't believe you. So I'll believe Brian Gutekunst has this figured out when I see Trey Smack after 17 games and a postseason next year. Then we'll talk about whether or not this was the right decision. But if by like week 6, week 7, we're screaming and yelling, we need a kicker, it's going to ruin our season, then I will be telling everybody, I told you so, and I'll be saying it a lot, Charlie.
The other thing I've been thinking about is a little sidetrack here. You talk about Brian Gutekunst maybe thinking, oh, he's got this different knowledge of it. What if McManus wasn't really a Gutekunst thing? What if that was more a Bisaccia thing, and that this draft was more of a Gutekunst decision, and that he went out and decided that McManus wasn't the option? We want Trey Smack instead.
If Rich Bisaccia was the reason that McManus was here, then he saved Goody's tail end. That's what happened.
Maybe that's why Bisaccia stuck around as long as he did.
Right? So maybe that is what happened. Maybe you're onto something here, buddy. Maybe that is what happened. And Bisaccia's like, dude, I'm done with this. I'm done saving your tail end. I'm out of here. You think you can do this better than me? You go find the talent better than what I can find the talent. And again, we don't know. We're just having fun with this. But that's the thing. Like I said earlier, if you're a bad team, this does not matter. I don't care who the kicker is. If I'm a bad organization, I don't care. Just like, I'll give you another example. If I'm a baseball team and I'm horrible, like the Pirates have been for so long, do you think they care who the closer is? No, because they're not going to be enough games for the closer to matter. So I don't care if Charlie's my closer. He's going to get, handful of chances throughout the year. It doesn't matter. But when you are competing to win a division, when you're competing to win a World Series, now I have to invest real money in getting me a real good closer at that point. That's how I view the kicker position. You want to experiment with rookie kickers and all this nonsense when you're not good, fine. But when you are good and the Super Bowl is the expectation, that person better not screw this up. And if your reasoning for cutting McManus is because of what happened in the playoffs and your reaction was, no, I'm not going to go get a veteran kicker that has proven to have better numbers than him, that's kicked outside in bad conditions, that I know is going to be good and I don't have to worry about, proven track record, your decision was, let's go with an unknown commodity, a rookie who might be kicking for their chance to go to the Super Bowl in Green Bay in snow blowing sideways. And then if he misses, everybody's going to go crazy on Brian Gutekunst. I would not personally do that if I was the GM of this team, Charlie.
Kind of seems like a lot of NFL teams recently, though, have had better luck taking a chance on a guy that they know little
No.
about versus going with
No.
the veteran players.
No, I don't care. I don't care. This is like your parents saying, well, if he went and jumped into the lake, would you? I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Well, everybody else has had success. Why won't Goody? Because Goody hasn't. We've seen that he hasn't had success. That's the problem. Green and Gold update, completely sidetracked by Charlie Usen. Unbelievable.
Well, you and Ryan got to argue about it. I didn't get to argue about it as much.
So you're just itching to argue with me. It's been too long. Yeah, that's fine. You're going to miss me this weekend. Off to getting in a wedding this week.
I'm going to be one of the groomsmen. I got my suit the other day, but the pants were
It
the wrong
fits?
size. No, so the pants were the wrong
I
size.
told you.
So I went in to get them yesterday, and there was a whole problem with it yesterday. Like the tailor took the pants home, and she wasn't coming back to work for the rest of the weekend. So then they had to order me a new pair, so I have to go back again tonight after the show. It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's exciting being.
Yeah. This is your first one. You're going to be in several more of these with same situations that'll keep popping up. And that's why they always tell you, make sure you have your suit and everything 2-3 weeks in advance. Hang it up and ready.
They didn't say it was ready for pickup until like the weekend, this past weekend.
I understand. It's not your fault. But I'm just saying, in general, if you're planning a wedding, which you will be at some point here, you're learning your lesson. Like, okay, we want to make sure all the groomsmen, everybody has their tuxes fit 2 weeks before. Because if there's a problem, I want 2 week leeway, not 5 days.
Sweatpants and tank tops. Hopefully my girlfriend's not listening. She's going to kill me for saying that.
Zero chance that happens. There is no chance that is going to happen. Coming up, Charlie, sounds of the day. It's going to be a fun one today. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Let's talk about our fine friends over there, over at Wendy's. Did you know that any youth sports player can score a free small classic Frosty anytime they visit Wendy's in their sports uniform? So like my kid plays 10U baseball tonight, drive through Wendy's on the way home, win or lose, give them a free Frosty. That's right. Just stop by after practice or with your team after a game. Who doesn't love a Frosty? Charlie Sounds of the Day. Up next, Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and Natty Oaks in West Allis on National Avenue. Oaks Fest, baby. This is where you want to be today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Live music, tiki bars, food trucks. Come hang out and have a blast and enjoy the weather outside. Bad to the bone, baby. Steve Sparky, Fiver with you. Dual producers today, Charlie Hughes and Aaron Morris back in the studios. I'm out at Natty Oaks in West Allis. Oaks Fest going on all weekend long. I have a stalker. His name is Josh, taking pictures of me right now, Charlie. I may want to get a restraining order. It's a little bit too close.
I bet he's getting good ones. Good.
No, nice.
Good
Coming
headshots.
closer.
Oh, there you go.
It's getting really scary.
Maybe a little
And
closer.
he's wearing, he's wearing this god awful pink flamingo Roosevelt shirt
I know
on
which
top
one,
of everything else, which is even scarier because I heard Trevor Thomas this morning talking about how he wanted to get said shirt that Josh was wearing. But the crazy thing about it is Josh said that it was rare. But the reason it's rare is because I bet you most people that made that shirt was like more than 5 people will probably want to wear this. And I think Josh said he's got a hat that matches that. You do not have a hat that matches
He's
that.
probably wearing
oh my
socks
God.
that match it too. If I know Josh, has he got socks?
No socks. No socks. But oh my. Yeah, so Josh is out here. Big old bowl of chili tomorrow for Josh. He'll be out
He's
here.
not going to back-to-back it? Have a big bowl of chili today and tomorrow?
No, only Fridays. Josh has an only Friday chili limit. Strict diet that Josh is on for that. Yes. Time for Charlie's Sounds of the Day.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie, using your top 3 sounds of the day, where to go first?
All right. So since I'm missing Plead the Fifth tomorrow, I wanted to kind of mix Plead the Fifth
Wait, hold on.
What's up?
So is Aaron up to speed on Plead the Fifth and having stuff ready to go and all of that?
I mean, I know what it is, and I have an idea, but I gotta do it. Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to steal anything. There's some other things that happened this week that I could give him some ideas because I have other things I say for Plead the Fifth too, even though I knew I wasn't doing it this week. First up, we're going to hear from Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, the 2 quarterbacks battling for the Vikings QB1 spot, and they both describe their relationship in 2 very different ways.
Kyler, can you describe your relationship with JJ to this point?
It's been great. Obviously, I know he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him. Obviously, I feel like I've played 7 years now, going on 8. So I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Give him any knowledge that he needs. Again, we're both competitors, and I know, we both want what's best for the team.
Has he been receptive to hearing criticism?
Of course. Yeah, he's overly acceptive, and he's always communicating, asking questions, stuff like that. So it's been good.
JJ, what's your relationship been like with Kyler so far?
It's just like 2 guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. So,
is there any awkwardness between you two?
Awkwardness, it's just like the same feeling, when you're in high school and there's another person on the other side of the room. That's just kind of how it is. So I wouldn't say there's any awkwardness.
So yes, there's awkwardness is what he means.
So this is the thing, and this is something we should learn as a fan base. Never listen to a veteran. Because, again, in this situation, Kyler Murray is saying everything that the coach would want you to say. He is doing it PR correct, right? Lie your tail end off. Tell everybody it's okay. Everything is fine. Don't worry about us. We got it. Oh, he's overly receptive. Oh, yeah. You go to dude's like, yeah, we don't talk.
We actually sit on
opposite
sides of the classroom.
Opposite sides of the classroom. Meanwhile, Ben Lieber, who is a former Vikings linebacker, tweets out, I'm sympathetic to the national media because they don't get all the context, and this is a prime example. JJ is very well liked in the locker room. Everyone knows he has to earn every rep, and it's an uphill battle. His comments were refreshing. It was real and honest, not divisive. Hey, man, this is the thing. He ain't going to be on this team by next year. He's not going to be on this team. There's no chance. There's just no chance because if Kyler Murray goes out there and plays well, he's asking for a trade. If Kyler Murray goes out there, plays well, gets hurt, and J.J. McCarthy comes in and he plays well, and they're going back to Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy's like, that's cool. I got good tape now. You can trade me at this point. If Kyler Murray goes out there, sucks, J.J. McCarthy comes in, plays well, that might be the opportunity for J.J. McCarthy to be there. But listening to J.J. McCarthy, I'm not quite sure this dude's moving on from getting sad for Kyler Murray. So I still think J.J. McCarthy at the end of this year is going to say, you could trade me now.
Well,
any scenario, he's out of there. And this is not going to go well for the Minnesota Vikings, Charlotte.
And J.J. McCarthy is just so dumb. Like, what are you even doing? Because if you don't get a shot this season, let's say you sit on the bench the entire year because Kyler Murray's awesome. What got Daniel Jones another job? What got Sam Darnold another job? What got Baker Mayfield another job is that all those guys were willing to just shut up and do whatever it took to get on a team and stay on a team. And they didn't say things like this about their teammates on the first week of practice that they've been with each other.
This is probably the first time in this kid's life he's had a sit. And he doesn't know how to handle it. He's mad at the world. He's Mr. Cocky and arrogant guy who Jim Harbaugh was like, you'd be an idiot if you didn't draft this guy. Like, he's been told his whole life how great he is. And now for the first time, he's probably going to have to sit, and he does not know how to handle adversity. And clearly he has decided not to handle it in the correct way either, Aaron.
Well, I think to Charlie's point, in talking about backup quarterbacks, whoever Kevin O'Connell has in his backup quarterback room, just all of a sudden everyone just miraculously is like, wow, this guy's good at quarterbacking again. And so, like, why would he not embrace that role, right? Like, somebody has to close to him tell him, I don't know, maybe it's his mom, maybe it's his girlfriend,
Jim Harbaugh
or what,
giving him a call.
Whoever it is, and say like, hey, dude, you might just have to sit this one out for a little bit and just and take it, and then you're going to have to run with it after this year, right? Sit out this year, learn all you can so that you can be the starter next year. Because who knows, maybe Kyler Murray is average, and the Vikings are like, you know what, J.J. McCarthy, you're our 2027 starter.
No, I don't believe you. No, I don't believe either one of you. No, I mean, it sounds good and fair. But this quarterback whisperer, Kevin O'Connell, that you're talking about, and I agree. I also think he's a quarterback whisperer and awesome, okay? Awesome. So this is not a slam on him. He had to work with this knucklehead last year. He knows what he cannot comprehend and can't figure out. And he had to be in on the decision to say, this ain't him. I got to have somebody else. And then they went the Kyler Murray way. And I'm sure that during the season, O'Connell pledged his allegiance to J.J. McCarthy. Hey, man, hang in there. I got you. We're in this ride or die, man. We're going to get through this together. And then they get to the offseason, and here comes the knife in the back. And now J.J. McCarthy's on the bench. He's like, what the hell just happened? I thought you were my guy. I thought we were in this together, and you bailed on me after 1 year. Like, that, I think, is where McCarthy's head's at right now.
I don't think Kevin O'Connell really wanted J.J. McCarthy. I think he wanted Sam Darnold, and the Vikings told him, the front office said no. So he said, okay, keep Daniel Jones. And they said, no. And then he wanted Aaron Rodgers, and they were like, no, not him either. And then he wanted Drake May, but they couldn't trade up for him. And then he basically gets given J.J. McCarthy. I don't think Kevin O'Connell has ever wanted J.J. McCarthy, but that shouldn't be something that stops J.J. McCarthy from saying, you know what, I'm going to get better and prove to this guy that I am worth playing, that he does believe in me now.
And you know what, Aaron? That might be where he gets by week 8. Maybe he gets there eventually, but right now he's still pretty much in his feelings. Maybe by the time he comes back for training camp, maybe he's over it and he comes in and competes and shuts up and plays. But that was a pouty answer, mad at the world that he's in this situation and he doesn't like it. All right, what's clip number 2, Charlie?
Right, next up here, this is a suggestion from Sparky that I liked, especially for the theme that I had here. We're going to dredge up a little history here for good old Stephen A. Smith, our friend here on the show. And 4 years ago on his podcast, he was reacting to Jalen Brunson signing with the New York Knicks.
My New York Knicks came away with nothing. Nothing at all. Trading their first round pick away. And for what? To go all in on clearing cap space in hopes of signing Jalen Brunson? Look, I mean, Jalen Brunson is a nice player. Hope the brother comes, hope he gets paid. But the Knicks are acting like he's KD. I'm going to repeat, Jalen Brunson. The Knicks just hired this man's father as an assistant coach. This is what you do to recruit a player in college. This is what you do at Kentucky. But the Knicks are an NBA franchise, at least they're supposed to be. But they've only been out of the first round once since 2001. Once. Missed the playoffs entirely in 16 of the past 21 seasons. Haven't won a damn championship since 1973. I was 5 years old, damn it. 5. So I'm tired.
I absolutely loved it. I saw it last night on X because it was blowing up. Because now it's even, Brunson, I know. Blah, blah, blah. So people went back and found this and said, really? Do you remember what happened when they actually were going to get Brunson and you ripped it and didn't think he was all that good? And now, I mean, he wins a championship. You can put him on their Knicks Mount Rushmore, and there's a lot of competition to be on that Knicks Mount Rushmore with a lot of Hall of Famers. And he's going to be there. They're going to win a championship. He is definitely going to be there. The fact that they're just in the finals potentially could put him there as well.
Be there. Yeah, like that's enough. And I know it wasn't the toughest journey to the finals for the Knicks this year. At the same time, you still made it. You still went and did it. You got to that mountaintop. Now it's about finishing. But even if you don't finish, I mean, this is a team that's going to live on in forever in New York.
Oh, we're going to hear about this team for 3 decades about how great they were.
Yes, correct. This I will admit to you on this. So back in the day when he was in college, Brunson, Gary Wolfel, and I would go back and forth about this kid. And he loved Brunson. I was like, dude, stop. He's too small. Like, whatever. Like, stop with all this Jalen Brunson love. Then when Brunson gets the gig with the Knicks, he's like, yeah, you're going to see. You're going to see now, smart guys. Like, you're nuts, Gary. You're out of your damn mind. It's never going to happen. He's like, telling you he's great. He's going to be great. You'll see. And sure enough, Gary was right. He blew up and is an absolute beast for the New York Knicks. And then who was the one? Oh, Becky Hammond. Did you see Becky Hammond?
She said,
Becky Hammond critical of Brunson and said, you'll never win a championship with a player as small as he is. Like, it just doesn't happen. Iverson didn't win a championship. And she started listing all these off. She goes, now, again, if I'm wrong, fine. I don't think they're beating anybody in the West that comes out of the West. But if I'm wrong, I'll admit when I'm wrong. But she doubled down on it and said, nope, not winning a championship. So it'll be fun to see how this all plays out. Knicks are going to be the underdog, regardless if it's Oklahoma City or San Antonio. They're the underdog in this thing. So we'll see how it goes. All right, what's third clip?
And last up here, we're going to hear from Bernie Miklasz. He was on St. Louis Sports Central. He has a show on there called Bernie in the Mornings. And he was discussing how he doesn't think Ali Marmol reacted enough to Abner Uribe's celebration.
We're going to talk it out. I'm not going to tell a pitcher to hit any of their guys. It's not the cool thing to do. Somebody could get hurt. Well, your own guys have been getting hit by pitches all season. What about that? And given Ollie's feelings on all of this, how in the hell do the young Cardinals fight back? Do they do this on their own? Where's Tony La Russa? Is the La Russa code dead in St. Louis? Is it gone forever? And the code is nothing evil. It's normal baseball. If an opponent takes liberties, if he goes after one of your players and he otherwise disrespects you and he does it more than once, it becomes a pattern. And you see what's going on and you know you're going to have to put a stop to it. So you answer in a way that is completely understood by everyone on both sides of the dispute. Your guys get it, the other dugout gets it, and then you move on. That's how you settle it.
Yeah, Bernie Miklasz, older than dirt, in St. Louis. Again, covered all of La Russa, was there the entire time, was there for all of Matheny. It's all this old school mentality that has been ingrained in their brains forever back to La Russa. And you know what? He's right. That's kind of how it is. You hit my guy, I hit your guy. That's how this goes. But for being honest, that's not today's baseball. There's not many guys in baseball today that believe in that stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I watched that whole series. Did either one of you feel at any point that the Brewers were throwing at the Cardinals on purpose?
No.
I'd never even crossed my mind that that was a thing.
Not one
Never.
Not one time.
No.
It was kind of frustrating to see, like, again, all this stuff Ali Marmol is saying, coming out saying, oh, I didn't ask for anything. Like, this was all a misunderstanding between us and Abner Uribe. That's all crap. When you see the video of him pointing to his ribs while Christian Yelich is standing at the plate, like, that's frustration boiling over that he's allowing to, I guess, take over his viewpoint in a situation where both sides are kind of in the wrong a little bit, because Uribe shouldn't have done what he did, whatever. Like, I get it. It was funny. It was cool. Like, that's who Uribe is. At the end of the day, he shouldn't have done it. And Ali Marmol shouldn't be telling his players to throw at people's ribs, especially when, like we're hearing Bernie say, it's a young team that's looking for ways to kind of get motivated when moments like that happen. That's not how you get these guys motivated nowadays. And you see that across the league, because that's just not what's happening anymore.
I need it on the record. I agree. I'm fine with what Uribe did. I have no problems with what he did. So I've seen, I don't know if anyone ever agrees with me. I haven't seen anyone on Uribe's side here, but I'm on his side. I'm good with it.
I said it before, and that is, if this was all going down and Uribe saw, witnessed Vogelbach and Marmol going at it about potentially stealing signs, then Uribe saw what was going on in the other dugout, about pointing to guys' ribs and that stuff. I said, the heck with this. So he gets out. He does his crotch chop at the Cardinals dugout. Murphy is all mad. Oh, don't do that. So he comes over. Oh, don't do that. Oh, whatever. So he goes, now I would hope at some point Uribe and Murphy had the conversation, or Uribe, his translator, and Murphy had the conversation of what he saw, what he witnessed, and that he was mad about it. So you could be mad that you didn't like what he did, sure. But as we've talked about, if his heart was in the right place, like Jack Stern said earlier from Brew Fanatic when we had him on the 3 o'clock hour, I'm totally for it. I got no problem with it whatsoever. And I also don't think this is over. The next time they see each other, I'm telling you, it's going to get to cracking. It's going to be a thing, because I would not be surprised if La Russa, Matheny, whoever, all these people that have managed there before, you're going to have fans bringing it up. Do you know what Tony did back when he was the manager? Do you know what Matheny did back when he was the manager? All this stuff. And there is going to be stuff on Marmol's backside the next time they see the Brewers about, you better do something about that. And then it'll be on Murphy to see what he wants to do, and whether or not he wants to be old school and we're going to throw back, or we're just going to let guys get plunked and we're not going to do anything about it. That we're going to find out. Because I firmly do not believe this is done, Charlie.
And I get it. And I don't think it's done either. The way these two teams, how young they are, this feels like a budding kind of new rivalry for them.
Fine.
I know we've talked about the Brewers and the Cubs, but you don't see the same kind of animosity, at least in this past series, between those two teams, because the Cubs just can't figure themselves out. St. Louis looks like they're on the rise here. And if they're on the rise, they're going to get a little bit of an ego. And if they're going to get a little bit of an ego, the Brewers got to put them in their place.
Look, I mean, we're being honest. The Cardinals are going to finish behind the Cubs at the end of the season, right? We know that. Cubs
they
got
haven't
their
slowed down yet. The Pirates and the Reds slowed down. The Cardinals have still been the same Cardinals.
I heard earlier on, I should have had you pull it. Vinny Rottino was on earlier in the day on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, and he's like, I'll buy that they're going to be there all year. They don't have the pitching. And I tend to agree with him that they probably aren't going to be there all year one way or the other. Chicago, on the other hand, they actually got a win last night. So look at that.
Yeah. I'm not
more
celebrating one win.
One more, and you have a winning streak, Charlie, and
no,
you're on your way.
3 wins is a winning streak. 2 wins doesn't count. 3 wins.
Well, what is 2 wins then?
2 wins is just 2 wins. 3 wins is a winning streak.
Where is that said?
By me. I'm writing that.
Oh, Charlie rules.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have Sparky rules. I got Charlie rules. All right.
I was trying to make you feel better, but you're gonna be a jerk about it.
It's gotta be 3 wins.
You may not have a winning streak for a long time. Then
Probably
that's gonna be because you're not beating Skeens tonight anyhow, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but you just put the Sparky curse out there, so I don't know.
You were doing pretty good yourself yesterday, Hotshot. Yeah, okay. Charlie Usen there, Aaron Morris, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer here, Wisconsin Sports Daily. Coming up next, things that Sparky missed, including a lot of your text messages that I never got to earlier in the show. Let me tell you about our fine folks over at Potawatomi. Step up to the plate, take a shot at winning major prizes in the $300,000 Big League Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. April through June, you can win a share of $300,000 in prizes. All monthly promo entries count towards the grand finale drawings on June 26th. Get triple the entries during Brewers home games and score one of 3 all-new Toyota vehicles. More info online. Must be 21 and rewards member to play. Only at Potawatomi. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here at Natty Oaks National Avenue in West Allis. Oaks Fest going on all weekend. Live music starting at 5 o'clock, going until 10 o'clock tonight. Plus, you have a food truck outside. You've got the tiki bar outside. All this delicious food, beer, and drink specials. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Hang outside on the patio. Hang inside here at Natty Oaks. We'll see you this weekend. We are back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Hope you all are doing well here on a Friday. I am where you need to be out here at Natty Oaks, and we are in West Allis on National Avenue, and we are waiting to see your smiling pretty face out here as we get ready to party with Oaks Fest going on this weekend. It's today, it's tomorrow, it's Saturday, it's Sunday. And there's not a better party going around, at least around the southeastern Wisconsin area. Now, if you're listening in Wausau or Green Bay or whatever, I don't know necessarily what the parties are by you. But for instance, today at Oaks Fest here at Natty Oaks, coming up 5 to 7 o'clock once I'm off the air, Whiskey Bells are performing on the patio. Then from 7 to 10, the Sons of Scotty are performing out in the grass area. Tiki Bar is going on right now. They're open. Food truck opens from 5 until 9 o'clock tonight. Got a 50-50 raffle going on. And again, all kinds of live music and all fun stuff like that going on tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Mitch Thunder Nellis back out here tomorrow from noon until 2 with the Mason Crosby Show. I'm back out here tomorrow 2 to 5. We gave away a bunch of free T-shirts today. If you are interested in getting your hands on a free T-shirt, come on, stop on down to Natty Oaks tomorrow between noon and 5. Our promotions guy, Will, is out here for all 5 hours helping hand out shirts and stuff like that. So come on out, say hi. Also, I tweeted out earlier, if you go to @Sparky Radio, there's a bunch of cool things you can win out here as part of Oaks Fest. You got a signed Jordan Love jersey, a signed Jacob Mizorowski picture, a signed Pat Murphy picture, some cool Bob Uecker stuff as well. So definitely want to come out here and check that out. Time for things that Sparky missed.
What story did Sparky miss talking about today on Wisconsin Sports Daily? Don't you worry. Sparky's got you covered now.
All right, let's get to things that Sparky missed. From the 414 on the Nicolay Lautaga text line, where would J.J. McCarthy go with a receiving core and an offensive line that Minnesota has? I think it's the best place possible for him if he has any ounce of talent. But that's absolutely true. You know, the other weird thing about this is, wasn't it Justin Jefferson, like within the last month, that came out and talked about working out in different areas of the country with J.J. McCarthy, just him and McCarthy playing catch and getting used to working with each other, and then also talking about how he can't wait to play with Kyler Murray. Like, that's something else that would drive me nuts, too, if I was J.J. McCarthy.
Why?
So what are we doing here?
That's Justin Jefferson's job.
To work with the backup quarterback?
No, it's his job to support the team. That's what he gets paid for, as one of the highest paid players in football at his position. Like, he goes out there and he's a Minnesota Viking, so whoever's the quarterback at one time, it was J.J. McCarthy, then it became Kyler Murray, so he's saying he's excited to work with both of them because it could be either one.
The last time I've heard of a backup quarterback working out with wide receivers was Aaron Rodgers early on in his career when he just got drafted and was making fun of old man Brett and all that. And he's working out with James Jones and some of these other guys back in the day off on their own in California. That was the last time I remember. I don't remember Malik Willis hooking up with Christian Watson last summer and working out with Christian Watson before the season started to make sure they're on the same page, or Romeo Dobbs or Dontavian Wicks. Like, Malik Willis wasn't doing that stuff. Hell, Aaron Rodgers wasn't even working out with the starting wide receivers for a majority of the time he was in Green Bay. It's just, the whole thing is very weird to me. That'll do it. Charlie, enjoy your time being in a wedding. Hopefully your tux is actually set and ready to go by the wedding day. If not, sweatpants and a T-shirt, baby. Just rock it. Just act like you own it.
I could get one of those shirts with the tie and the tugs on it.
Yes,
yeah,
the fake tie shirts. Yeah. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up with Tommy Wirtz coming up next. Toodles.